UFC Singapore just recently wrapped up, and I'm going to recap the entire card. It was honestly an epic event, and I'm super excited to talk about each of the matchups. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on. Make sure to share the video too. And let's get into the first fight of the night. It was Seung Choi versus Jarno Errens, and Seung Choi was tested, dropped in the second round, able to win a hard-fought fight against a pretty decent prospect in Errens. First round was Choi's, third round was Choi's. The thing with Choi is he had a decent performance here, and I know he has pretty solid stand-up. I would say he was more defensively sound than normal, aside from like the one big uppercut that put him on his ass. Decision over a tough Jarno Errens is not going to jump him like super far up the rankings, but it was a clean win in a fight against a guy that, you know, was a pretty good European prospect. Errens now 0-2 in the UFC. I don't think that you cut Jarno Errens because, as I said, he had the big moment with the uppercut. He was tough down the stretch. He was still trying in the fight throughout the whole thing. Choi able to steal that third round. It seemed like, though, when that knockdown happened, I was worried. I was like, wow, there might be a full momentum shift, and Errens might really steal that. And he was an underdog coming in that I know a lot of people liked. I had originally picked Choi, though, to win the fight. But I thought Errens was a live dog, and the fight looked kind of like how I anticipated. I said it's a near coin flip. It's going to go distance, and Choi wins a decision, which I thought would end up happening. Now, that uppercut that nearly put him out was pretty damn crazy. Choi with the W to start the night off. I think it led to good momentum for me, feeling good starting it. And it was a fun fight. It went the full distance, but it was a good scrap. And, you know, I was happy to see a good war ensue for the first fight of the night. It got the momentum of the night. The vibe started right. I guess night, I'm saying. It was morning. I was up at 4:30 a.m. It was a 5 a.m. card. I was live for it mad early. Earliest UFC live stream ever. The next fight was Liang versus JJ Aldrich. Aldrich did the impossible. She got a finish in the UFC. It's something that she hadn't done before. Honestly, Aldrich in this matchup, when she got to the mount in the second round, later stage, it was ground and pound. Liang had nothing after probably midway through the second. The gas really dwindled. She's known for her wrestling. I got to jump out and just say this straight up. I was talking about this during the live that Liang, to me, looks like a fighter with 6 or 7 fights. She's still incredibly raw, but she has way more MMA fights than JJ Aldrich, who is a UFC veteran at this point. Now, the odds were crazy wide here. Minus 550 for JJ Aldrich. She was able to get the win and got it done, and she definitely deserved to be the favorite. And I guess the reason it was so wide is because of Liang's rawness. She fights a little chaotic. She looked a little more calculated, though, than her previous 2 UFC fights. She was more composed and calm, but same issue. She likes that head and arm throw. She's a strong girl who's athletic and can wrestle, but it doesn't make up for the holes in her technical game when you start fighting a girl like JJ Aldrich, who has a win over Jillian Robertson. She got a finish here, though, which was huge for Aldrich. I didn't think it was likely that she would finish just because of past history. That's her first UFC finish ever. She got the TKO on the ground. She was able to really show that her grappling skill set is definitely better than Liang Na's, regardless of the strong wrestling base of Na. Just the fighting skill set is not there. So Aldrich, great W. Great W. Huge favorite, but great W. Billy Goff versus Yusaku Kinoshita. What a fucking upset here. Now, the odds weren't crazy wide, but Kinoshita was an Asian prospect, Japanese guy with a lot of potential hype after winning on the Contender Series. Now he falls to 0-2 in the UFC. He was touching Billy Goff well with strikes, but the perfect straight to the solar plex folded Kinoshita near the cage. He went down, and that was it. It was a beautiful straight punch. Billy Goff ate some good shots in this fight and showing that his chin is really solid. And, you know, he's a Northeastern guy, you know, and he's got that fighting spirit inside. And you can see that Northeast fighting spirit. The dude comes back from getting dropped multiple times in previous fights and is able to win. Here, he weathers a bit of a storm from Kinoshita. Was never significantly hurt, but got hit with good strikes. And he was able to put him down with a perfect body shot. The dude's tough. Young guy, too, at only 25. I mean, Kinoshita's mad young at just 23. Going to be interesting to see what Billy Goff's future is like in the UFC. Because with Kinoshita, you know, we don't know if it was just hype the whole time or if he was actually fairly decent. The big question mark was him off the back, him on the ground. Billy Goff got him on the feet. That was a perfect body shot. Up until the strike, Kinoshita was winning a lot of the exchanges, but Goff's toughness and precision body shot gets him a clean win. Good performance. Next one, Kenan, Seung, Rolando, Bedoya. This was a legit upset, large upset. Plus 260 underdog, Kenan, Seung. In this fight here, most people counted him out. Me included. I'll tell you straight up. I thought Rolando Bedoya, after the fight against Chaos, I'm like, okay, he probably could have got the decision. It was real close. Seung, nearly 34, multiple fight losing streak. I think Bedoya can find the strikes. And in the first round, fight looked to be going as expected. Bedoya's finding punches, absolutely ripping the legs of Seung. But then in the second and third, Seung was landing way harder punches to the head, was able to hurt Bedoya on a couple of occasions. Not significantly, more like flash hurts, like quick, hard shots land, but Bedoya recovers. The boxing skill of Bedoya kind of started to show some holes, and I think his stand-up, specifically with the hands, began to fall apart in the second and third, and Seung was landing the better shots for sure. Bedoya mostly had just, cleaner kicks. His punching is a little bit like on the slappy-ish side. He doesn't have the cleanest boxing, and I think in this fight here against Seung, it showed he's only 26. Seung's been in there with some good talent. Adesanya fight, Morono. What other names do we got? Freaking Ian, Gary, Max, Payne, Griffin. Experienced UFC vets. And it's not over for Seung. I thought his prime's pretty much behind him. Nah, he looked as good as he has in the past when he's gotten wins. He looked pretty clean here. He's got a bit of sting in his punches. He moves fairly well. And he beat a Rolando Bedoya who I think needs to trim some body fat and get his ass down to 155. I don't think he's even a tweener, like a between 155, 170, where guys would complain like Kevin Lee used to, I want 165-pound weight class. I don't think that's Bedoya. I just think he's carrying, 15 pounds of body fat. Maybe 10 at the low end. He definitely can get down to 155 pounds if he had a six-pack. And I couldn't imagine how he looked there. I thought here in the first round he looked really good. But it fell apart after that. I don't know the level of Bedoya going long in the UFC. I do think he could be a guy that gives some fritz at, 155 pounds. Pretty good frame for the weight at 5'11" with a 75-inch reach. Losing to a Kenan Seung ain't a good look in your sophomore appearance, though. Especially when you're a prospect coming in, taking a fight against Chaos and a lot of people feeling he won. That hype's dwindled. Those candles have been put out. Kenan Seung with a clean W nonetheless. He looks solid, and he keeps his roster spot, and he's a fun, more back-end tier welterweight that's going to give decent fights, and, if you want striking matches, he can bring the heat. Next fight on the card. Round of applause for these two. Michael Oleksiejczuk and Chidi Njokuani put on a good fight. Njokuani hurt Oleksiejczuk badly. It was like a high kick / high knee. And Oleksiejczuk was wobbling all over the place, but Oleksiejczuk doesn't quit. He's throwing heat back at Njokuani, hurts him with punches. Njokuani, to me, when he ended up on his back, looked like he had lost faith in himself. It was like, I had the guy hurt. I didn't get it done. It's over now. Oleksiejczuk is throwing ground and pound. He postured up, put him in stack guard, passes, is throwing more ground and pound. And Chidi, he's tight covering with horrible body language, though, like wilting away. Like, listen, I'm good. It looked like he wanted to be out of the fight after I saw him kind of a little bit complain to the ref. But you can't have that type of body language and expect the referee not to stop the fight. Oleksiejczuk dug deep and wanted it bad. He was able to touch up Njokuani with the punches on the inside. Sure, he ate some teeps. He ate some knees to the body. He ate some kicks up high. He ate some big shots in this fight. The legs of Njokuani are crazy, but Oleksiejczuk closing that gap, bringing the pressure to Njokuani. Njokuani making mistakes, ended up on his back, dragging the fight almost on top of him. And then Oleksiejczuk just continuing to bring the onslaught. He was able to get a ground and pound stoppage. Njokuani's body language is what got him out of the fight. I think he was wilting from strikes on the feet a bit too beforehand. And then when the stoppage happened, I personally agreed with the stoppage. Good fight. Oleksiejczuk with a nice W. Next fight, Garrett, Armfield, Toshiomi, Kazama. Holy shit. Armfield had that breakout performance that we were looking for from him as he whooped Toshiomi Kazama's ass. His boxing was crisp as hell. He was touching up Kazama with numerous punches on the feet, and he beat the shit out of him. Fight could have maybe even been stopped earlier. Kazama's face was destroyed. Garrett Armfield lets him up, and then he drops him with a big straight. Ref jumps in, stops the fight. It was a good stoppage. It was time. It was time to call it. The straight right was on the money. Garrett Armfield did his thing on the feet, styled on Kazama. There was no grappling attempts by Kazama. Garrett Armfield was physically stronger, faster on the feet, better technically. And Kazama, always a little bit of suspect chin, but I don't think it's that. I think Kazama just has a mid-tier striking game. He needs to really dial in his hands. His whole striking arsenal is quite limited. He has good jiu-jitsu from the back, but he's not a great wrestler. He doesn't really offer much threat on the feet. Garrett Armfield is a good hybrid MMA fighter with nice boxing. At bantamweight, he's a fun fighter to watch. I like his style, man. It was a great W here. Next one was Waldo Cortes-Acosta over Łukasz Brzeski. I think this is time for me to say, I told you so. I called Waldo the lock of the card. I said he was the lock of the week. I said he's going to knock out Brzeski. He's going to be the first guy in the UFC to do it. And sure enough, he gets it done in the first round with a meme-worthy knockout, like Brzeski falling on his damn head, getting clubbed behind the ear, and then Waldo just throwing heat at him. I love to see it. Waldo's hand speed is very good. Brzeski was just trying to attack with naked leg kicks, and then Waldo was eventually able to find the timing and counter. Waldo, it's like everybody thinks you're just going to chop his legs apart. The dude ate leg kicks from Rogerio de Limas, whose fucking quads are like this, and he's got these monster calves. Brzeski's just trying to attack legs. That this didn't seem like the right strategy, and Waldo put the hands on him bad and got a nice knockout win in the first round. First guy to stop Brzeski inside of the UFC. Listen, I'm not saying Waldo's climbing into the top 5 next week, but at 31 years of age, a pretty good boxing game. I think he's a fun player in the mid-tiers of the heavyweight rankings. I like a lot of potential matchups. Can you imagine we do this? This is maybe a stretch, but can we go Arlovski versus Waldo? Can we give him a big showcase, big chance? That'd be kind of cool, right? Two guys with boxing-based styles. I know Arlovski's well past the prime, and I think Waldo probably gets Arlovski now. I don't know. It's just a fight that came to my mind that I thought would be interesting. We'll see what the UFC wants to do with Waldo. Regardless, very impressed that he knocked out Brzeski, something that, had been done on the, lower level circuit, but never in the UFC. And I thought it would be true. I thought Brzeski was too slow on the feet. His hands weren't there. And boom, Waldo knocked him out. Lock of the week. Let's fucking get it. Next fight, Justin Tafa, Parker Porter. I'm hype as hell on this one, man. I was high confidence on Tafa to win this thing by knockout in its first round. He was able to do it, but not as fast as his brother. His brother, I think, got it in 1:05. He got it in 1:24. He hurt Porter real early, and then Porter looked to grapple him. Good takedown defense for Tafa. On the feet, he was a fucking monster. We knew he would kill Parker Porter if it was striking. The big question was, could Porter get this fight to the ground somehow? No. His strength wasn't there. The wrestling base wasn't there. He doesn't have the build to beat a good athlete who's also large and slender and power in his hands like a Justin Tafa. I know Porter won his last fight, so they're not going to be releasing him from the UFC. Most likely not. You never know. Tafa lost to Usman last time out. It went long, and he had moments. He was able to get his big UFC win moment here, knocking Parker Porter out in the first round. It was a clean shot, to the top-ish area of the head. It was a beautiful shot. He was touching up Porter with everything before. Good win for Justin Tafa. Drops Parker Porter. And Parker Porter's such a nice guy, though. We give him a hard time. I feel bad. Parker Porter, good dude, unfortunately got laid out here, and he's getting knocked out a handful of times in the UFC. But he's always seemed like a real nice guy. Even after the fight, how he was interacting with Tafa, he's like, yeah, you got me right there. I was like, yeah, he's a good dude, man. So I guess, good dude don't win your fist fights, though. Good shit, Junior Tafa. Next fight, Erin Blanchfield. Add the OV to the end of the name. Erin Blanchfield defeated Taila Santos, but she was unsuccessful in pretty much every takedown attempt. I think technically she might have been 0 for 14. She kind of landed one takedown, though, but didn't really get any control on the ground, and Santos got right back up. So it depends how they judge it. I don't know officially on the stats if they counted it. I'll count it, but Taila Santos' takedown defense is Jose Aldo in his prime tier. She makes 0 sense how she's stopping all these fully locked in fucking double legs. Her balance is something out of this world. Erin Blanchfield lost the first round, kept coming in the second. And Santos made the biggest mistake by trying to take Blanchfield down. She ends up on her back in the second round, loses that round. And then the third round, Blanchfield stuck to her like glue, weared her out. The eye of Santos, the left eye, the one that she had surgery on, was bothering her. The one that she damaged in the fight with Shevchenko, bothering her. She's blinking it out. Third round, Blanchfield all over her with pressure, smothered her towards the cage, threw strikes, was even touching her with good punches, secured the win, and it's time we give Erin Blanchfield the title fight. She's the number one contender now. It shouldn't be the winner of Manon Fiorot and Rose Namajunas. It should be Erin Blanchfield, who just beat Taila Santos by a unanimous decision, something that had never been done before. Santos could have easily been coming into this fight at 21-0 and been the world champion. If it was 5 rounds, Blanchfield would have stopped her because Santos was wilting late in that fight. Erin Blanchfield better get a title shot. Better get a title shot. And I think Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko, this is the boogie woman for both of them. Taila Santos' takedown defense is out of this world. I think Blanchfield with the pressure, she's going to give a lot of problems to either Grasso or Shevchenko. Love those fights. I'm all in to see those matchups. Winner of that matchup fights Erin Blanchfield. She's the number one contender. She deserves the next title fight. 12-1, 24. I thought it was a good performance. She's willing to walk down Taila Santos, taking big shots, nose busted up early in the fight. There's no quit in her. Erin Blanchfield is all heart. She's got the skills. She's got the toughness. She's got everything you want. And I think that deserves a potential title challenge heading into 2024. Maybe it's in 2024. Maybe it's late 2023, but probably early 2024. I want to see it. Erin Blanchfield should be fighting for the belt next. Clean W over Taila Santos, which had never been done before. Nobody beat her clean like that. Split decisions. Never a clean decision. No doubt Erin Blanchfield was the winner. Great performance by Blanchfield. I was hype. I'm still hype. Next fight, Rinya Nakamura versus Fernie Garcia. Nakamura clean 30-27. He won all the fight, all the moments of the fight, the whole round. He won everything. Some complaints in the live chat, though. Oh, he sucks. He's this, he's that, guys. Rinya Nakamura dominated Fernie for 3 rounds and was unable to finish. But Fernie's never been finished as a professional. He's got good boxing. He's got good submission defense. He lost every position. He landed a couple of strikes on the feet, but he was getting outworked the entire fight. The dude is just tough as they come. Nakamura bullied him from top and even said, listen, in a couple years, I'm going to come give you guys a finish in Singapore. He knows he's got things to work on. He's 28. He's a freak athlete. He's got an amazing wrestling background. He hits really fucking hard. He just got to tighten up some things, maybe with the jits. Get a little bit more technical with your offense. Like he shot for an armbar that was a little out of position, but his athleticism almost set it up for him. Tighten up a couple things. I think Nakamura is dangerous. He likes throwing high kicks. His nickname is the hybrid. That fits perfectly for him because he's a wrestler, striker, hybrid. He can do it all. He hits really hard. He's super athletic. He's explosive. And I'm telling you, you give him a matchup against somebody else of similar ranking to a Fernie Garcia, I think Nakamura could get that UFC stoppage. He's a finisher. 5 wins by knockout, 1 sub, now 2 decisions. The dude's 8-0 as a professional. 28. He's still developing. He's the road to UFC champ. I think he's got a solid future. Don't rush him to the top, but he's got a solid future at 28 years of age. Great performance for him to beat Fernie Garcia. Unable to finish, but nobody's finished Fernie. Next fight was the featured bout of the night, Giga Chikadze versus Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres was competitive at moments. He definitely lost the fight. I scored the fight 29-28 Chikadze. I thought that Alex Caceres early in the fight had some decent moments in the striking. Chikadze, you could tell towards the end of the first round, the momentum shifted towards him. He was finding the cleaner and more powerful strikes on the feet. What I was surprised at is the fact Alex Caceres never tried to engage in the grappling. I thought that he would at least threaten with grappling attempts, and I thought that would set more up on the feet. If you told me we were going to just be looking at kickboxing here, honestly, I'm impressed that Alex Caceres went the distance, having struck the whole time with Giga Chikadze, because that's, a serious accolade, and for him to even win some exchanges is impressive. But yeah, I would have thought that he would have been shooting takedowns. I thought he'd want this fight on the floor. I thought maybe he'd be most comfortable getting maybe to the backside of Giga Chikadze near the cage, looking for a choke. I thought Caceres' path to victory was mix-in grappling. The fact that he didn't and he just kickboxed, respect to him being competitive, but not the game plan that I personally anticipated, because I thought Alex Caceres was real live for a rear naked choke. I said I'll pick him as an underdog. And then for him to just go out there and kickbox, that was interesting. That was kind of mind-boggling. But nonetheless, even just kickboxing, he did well for himself. He fought a kickboxing champion in straight striking and he landed good shots. He had moments. He didn't get dropped. He made it a good fight. Giga Chikadze says, yo, he plays it off like he's going to retire. But no, he calls out the whole division. Who does he call for? Yair Rodriguez. That's the fight to make. Let's do Giga Chikadze, Yair Rodriguez. I think timelines work out. The stylistic matchup is epic. I know Giga Chikadze is a kickboxing champion, but damn, the better kicker, I feel like it's Yair, man. I feel like Yair might be nastier with those kicks. The body kick of Giga is money. Caceres is very durable. So maybe, we're kind of, overlooking the potential for damage being done against different opposition because of Caceres' just natural toughness. But I don't know, man. At this point, I could see Yair Rodriguez touching up Giga on the feet, especially a 5-rounder. I like that fight, though. Let's do Giga Chikadze versus Yair at some point. He said December. Let's do it in December. Let's do it at the end, 2024. I'd rather at 5 rounds, though. Let's do it on a, fight night main event. That's what I want. Let's do fight night main event, and let's do 5 rounds. Giga Chikadze, Yair Rodriguez. I want to see that fight. For Caceres, he'll still be ranked next week, most likely holding his spot. He lost to a guy well ahead of him in the rankings. He gave it his best go. He was competitive at moments. Not enough for Giga Chikadze. Not enough to strike with the kickboxer and beat him there. I didn't think that's where he would win. Next fight on the card, it was Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann 2, the rematch. And Anthony Smith got a split decision. And I know there's going to be a lot of debate about this one. So, let's talk about, first and foremost, round by round. First round was definitely Anthony Smith's. Thought he landed better strikes on the feet. He looked fast. I don't know. He found good punches. Spann wasn't opening up a ton. It was definitely an Anthony Smith first round looking back at it, and I scored it live for him. Second round, Ryan Spann nearly knocked Anthony Smith out. I believe it was the left hook that just glazed the eye. Anthony Smith, I believe, was it his left eye? I believe it was his left eye. Swelled and shut. Terrible. Like huge. It was massive. It was a huge hematoma. Maybe a fractured orbital. Was hurt badly. Spann was unable to get the finish, though. Smith survived. It was clean 10-9 for Spann that round. Third round's competitive. It seems like Spann might be doing a little more, but Smith is right in it with significant strikes. He landed some good ones of his own. To really give you like, it was an absolute robbery, I guess I'd have to go back, rewatch, rescore, pause it. But that's not how the fights are scored. They're scored live, and I'm scoring it live. I scored the fight live, 2-1 for Ryan Spann. I did. And I picked Anthony Smith to win this fight. But I did score it for Ryan Spann. Now, I don't think it was a major robbery. I thought it was a slightly controversial decision, especially when damage trumps all. Even in the third, it seemed like Ryan Spann had landed the bigger punches. So, personally, I guess I thought the scorecard should have went to Spann, but it was too close for comfort. Spann should have went balls to the wall for the fucking finish. You can't leave it in the hands of the judges. And let's be honest, it's not like it was a 10-8 third round that got scored 10-9 for Smith, and it was definitely Spann winning every moment. It was a competitive round where both guys were landing shots. Smith got it. It was close. It was a coin flip. At the end of it, heads or tails, you could have flipped it. Ryan Spann, yeah, I scored it for him, but I'm not the professional judge cage side. I'm not watching it from the angles they are. Anthony Smith wins it. He gets it done. He was an underdog in this fight. Avenges nothing. He actually just, redeemed himself back to back. He beat, Ryan Spann twice. He's got 2 wins over him now. This one a real close decision. Smith still got that dog in him. He survived. He's going to keep fighting. He's going to keep making money. I don't know what matchup is next in that light heavyweight division. I guess I'll bring it up. I'll look at it. I got the rankings on my phone for this reason. I had it before. I said, let me get the rankings. All right. Anthony Smith heading into this fight was ranked number 8 in the world with Ryan Spann at number 10. Volkan Oezdemir has a fight booked against Guskov. Maybe the winner of that. That could be a potential matchup. Rematch potentially with Volkan. Give somebody else a chance to try to beat him. Nikita Krylov fights on the horizon. Jan Blachowicz maybe. Maybe him and Jan. We'll see what the UFC decides for Spann. He's in a tricky spot, losing to Anthony Smith and now back-to-back. But he's still a ferocious puncher. That's a fun addition to light heavyweight, and he's still going to be ranked next week. So, at the end of the day, close decision, somewhat controversial. Anthony Smith wins it over Ryan Spann. Main event of the evening, Max Holloway versus Chan Sung Jung. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you haven't. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And let's talk about this one. Max Holloway was able to lay the Korean Zombie out. But this fight should have been done before that. Because in the second round, Max Holloway had Zombie finished, but he kind of just stood there waiting for the ref to stop it and didn't follow up with strikes, and then decides to go for, I believe, a Darce choke, but it may have been an Anaconda. I'm like 80% sure it was Darce. Trying to lock it in, unable to get it. Zombie just doesn't tap. It looks super tight, but Zombie somehow survives, doesn't go to sleep, doesn't tap. He gets back up, he recovers. There's some striking moments for Zombie. He cracks Holloway a bit. Holloway hadn't been hit this much, really, as of recent, since fighting Volkanovski. Zombie brought fire to Max Holloway. Then in the third round, how does Zombie go out? Like the Zombie should, flat out on his face. He was throwing bombs, looking for wild shots, walking Max Holloway down. It was the perfect counter. Believe it was a right overhand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, right hook listed as. And down goes Zombie, flat on his face. Ref jumped right in. It was a great stoppage. Holy shit. What a fight. Zombie went out as he should. He retired after the fight, man. So let's just take a moment. Round of applause to the Korean Zombie career, because the guy was always in action-packed fights. He was dog tough throughout every fucking matchup. I loved watching Zombie. I remember when WEC and UFC merged and Zombie came in after that war with Leonard Garcia. And I remember that war with Leonard Garcia and WEC. And now to see how far he's come, yeah, he never became the world champion, but he was loved more than plenty of world champions of yesteryear, because Zombie's style, his personality, his flow. He didn't even speak a lick of English, didn't have to. The fans loved him, man. And especially the Asian fans, his South Korean fans, off the charts, man. I love the way Zombie went out as Zombie would, flat on his face. That's how Zombie's got to go down. I was saying with Max Holloway, bro, you got to double tap him. If you guys seen Zombieland, the movie, double tap him. That's like one of the main rules. And Holloway didn't do that, so then Zombie got back up. Luckily, nothing too crazy happened, and Holloway won. Now the signature red shorts for Holloway. On the other side, Holloway dedicated his fight to Hawaii, obviously with the fires. And, he was talking about, trying to do your best if you can donate and whatnot. He was very focused on that. He obviously had a heavy heart heading into this fight because of that situation. Totally understand. And he gave it hell. Great performance. The first round, which I didn't even mention, was an epic back and forth round. Holloway won it, but Zombie was in there throwing heat. He hurt Holloway with a couple punches, and then Holloway rocked him bad. It was a great main event. Classic fight, as you would have expected Holloway and Zombie to go. Some crazy war back and forth, but Holloway stamping the W on it. And now he's in this weird position where he's still the number one contender. He's beaten everybody. So what's next? Well, there's two fights on the horizon. There's the Volkanovski quadrilogy, which I doubt the UFC is going to put together, or Ilia Topuria if he's not to fight Volkanovski next. I know that Volkanovski doesn't want Topuria to do that fight, because then next thing you know it, Max Holloway beats him and it sends back another contender, and then you just have to do Max Holloway. So, I'm looking at the weight class, and I'm like, dude, Max is in the weirdest position I've ever seen, as he's beaten every contender. He's defeated them all. Look at the rankings here. Max Holloway, number 1. Volkanovski, obviously the champ. Number 2, Yair Rodriguez. Max Holloway beat him. Number 3, Brian Ortega. Max Holloway beat him. Number 4, Arnold Allen. Max Holloway beat him. Number 5, Ilia Topuria. He seems like he's poised to be fighting against Volkanovski. Josh Emmett, number 6. They never fought. Calvin Kattar, he has a win over. Obviously, Zombie, he just beat. Then there's Giga, but Giga doesn't deserve that fight. Giga called out Yair, and that makes more sense. Holloway's in a weird spot, man. I have no idea. If he decides, I have two options. What if he does something crazy? Could we set up a super fight, Sean O'Malley, Max Holloway? Can you imagine? If Max Holloway could somehow drop to 135, I don't think he can, though. He's 5'11". Can you imagine a world where he could, though? He drops to 135 to challenge Sean O'Malley for that belt. That fight would be a super fight of the highest magnitude. That would be way bigger than the Sterling versus O'Malley biggest bantamweight fight ever. That would be tenfold bigger. That would be a legendary super fight. So, where does he go? We got 155. Does he try to chase Justin Gaethje for the BMF belt? But Gaethje's bigger than him. Yeah, Holloway's in a weird spot, man. I don't know. Wait around, see what the division does. Maybe a rematch opens up with somebody. I don't know. You fight Brian Ortega? It doesn't make sense to me. The Ilia Topuria fight, maybe if Topuria loses to Volkanovski, then after that, Topuria would fight against Max Holloway. Does he fight Josh Emmett? Josh Emmett took a really bad loss to Topuria, and before that, really bad loss to Yair. 2 bad losses in a row, and now you give him a jump in competition? Yeah, very interesting spot. Movsar Evloev could end up getting a fight with Max Holloway. I'm like thinking there's a chance that with Movsar getting one more win, maybe he could get the Max fight, because it's got to be something new. I don't think we're going to be watching a rematch with Yair or a rematch with Ortega or Calvin Kattar. Or we doing the quadrilogy with Volk. Interesting spot for Max Holloway. Nonetheless, the dude's one of the best fighters on planet Earth. He proves again why he's a pound-for-pound fighter, getting it done over Zombie in an epic war. Successful career for Zombie, regardless of ever having the belt. Legendary run. And when I hear the song, Zombie in Your Head, I'll be thinking of him forever. So shout out to Zombie. Shout out to Max Holloway. Guys, let's review the picks. So my record. What was my record? 10-3, baby. Pretty fuego record. We won the main event, the Max Holloway pick. Won with Anthony Smith as an underdog, regardless of how people scored the fight. It was a W. Giga Chikadze, obviously we lost. We had Caceres over Giga. Rinya Nakamura over Fernie, won there. Won with Erin Blanchfield over Taila Santos. I like that one a lot. That decision prop came through too if you had that. Junior Tafa, first round knockout over Parker Porter. I was hype about that call. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, lock of the week over Łukasz Brzeski. And I said he'd be the first one in the UFC to knock him out, and he did it. Garrett Armfield over Kazama. I said Armfield by TKO in the weigh-in recap show, as I could just feel the intensity. I said, man, this thing ain't going distance. Armfield can beat him on the feet. Oleksiejczuk over Njokuani. Picked him in a fucking crazy fight. Had Bedoya over Seung. Dude, like nobody had Seung. I don't know. If you did have Seung, let me know in the comments. Congrats. Kudos to you if you did. Big W. Because damn, Bedoya got beat. Billy Goff over Kinoshita. I had Kinoshita. I thought he could get him. I knew Goff was a fucking dog, though. But to beat him on the feet like that, I'm impressed by Billy Goff. Had JJ Aldrich over Liang. Most people did. And then I had Seung Choi over Jarno Errens. But I thought it was a coin flip. And I said maybe the bet inside of Errens is better for a low plus. And you know what? It was a coin flip fight that went long, and Choi got the decision, which I called throughout the week. So 10-3 records, really great. I was up so damn early, guys. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. Eastern time to stream because, you know, I bring the heat for my people. I got you guys. Tomorrow, I'm dropping the full card predictions for next week's Fight Night card, which is going to be good. It's Gane versus Spivak. I'll be live throughout the week, dropping videos throughout the week, content every single day. Keep it right here at MMA Experts. Thank you guys for helping me pass 20,500 subs during the live stream. We hit like 20,568 or something like that. That's epic. I appreciate you guys so much, man. Keep it locked in on the channel. Let me know what you thought of the fights in the comments below. And if you have nothing to say in the comments, you just enjoy the content. As always, drop a W in the chat. Another like record-breaking live stream. We had the best Fight Night live stream. We got like 30,000 views on it. So that was an epic fight companion, guys. So tune into those fight companions every single Saturday, regardless of what time. I'll be right here live for the entire card. Much love, my people. I appreciate you all. Subscribe if you're new. Turn the post notifications on. Put them on all so you don't miss a video, so you get notified for everything. Smash the likes. I appreciate you guys watching. Fun card coming up next week. Can't wait to get into it tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Much love, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.